Most people think discipline is about forcing yourself to do things you hate. Waking up early when you're tired. Working when you don't feel motivated. Saying no to comfort, pleasure, and distraction. But what if I told you, that's not real discipline? What if true discipline has nothing to do with punishment, willpower, or suffering, and everything to do with becoming someone so strong that excuses stop making sense? One day, Friedrich Nietzsche said something that shocked everyone who heard it. He who has a why to live can bear almost any how. That single sentence carries a secret that most people never uncover. And today, I want to tell you a story, one that blends Stoic wisdom, Nietzsche's philosophy, and a hard truth about discipline that might completely change how you see your life. If you've ever struggled to stay consistent. If you've ever started strong and quit halfway. If you've ever felt weak, unmotivated, or stuck. Stay with me until the end, because the final moment of this story might be the most uncomfortable and powerful thing you hear today. A man who couldn't control himself. There was once a man named Marcus. Marcus was not lazy. He was not stupid. And he was not weak in intention. He wanted to improve his life. He wanted discipline. Every Monday, Marcus promised himself he would change. He would wake up early. Eat better. Work harder. Stop wasting time scrolling on his phone. And for a few days, he did. But by Friday, something always happened. He felt tired. Unmotivated. Overwhelmed. Just today, he told himself. I'll start again tomorrow. Tomorrow never came. Weeks turned into months. Months turned into years. And one night, sitting alone, Marcus asked a question that scared him. Why can't I control myself? This is where most people turn to productivity hacks. But this story doesn't go there. Instead, Marcus stumbled upon two philosophers, men who lived centuries apart, yet strangely agreed on one brutal truth. The Stoics, and Friedrich Nietzsche. The Stoic view of discipline. The Stoics believed something simple, but ruthless. You don't control the world. You control yourself. Not your emotions. Not your urges. Not your comfort. Your choices. To the Stoics, discipline wasn't about motivation. It was about character. Epictetus, a former slave, taught that every moment presents a choice. Will you act like a slave to impulse? Or like a free person who governs himself? The Stoics woke up early not because they felt like it, but because they decided the kind of person they wanted to be. But here's the problem Marcus faced. He understood Stoicism. Yet he still failed. And that's where Nietzsche enters the story. Nietzsche's uncomfortable question. Nietzsche didn't believe most people lacked discipline. He believed something worse. He believed most people lacked a strong enough reason to suffer. To Nietzsche, discipline without purpose is just self-torture. And that's why it always collapses. He looked at humanity and saw people trying to improve themselves for shallow reasons. To look good. To impress others. To escape guilt. To feel productive. Nietzsche despised this. He said discipline must come from self-creation, not self-punishment. In other words, you don't become disciplined by hating who you are. You become disciplined by refusing to remain who you are. This idea shook Marcus. Because suddenly, his failure made sense. Why most people fail at discipline. Marcus realized something painful. He didn't actually want discipline. He wanted the results of discipline, without the transformation. He wanted confidence without struggle. Success without sacrifice. Strength without discomfort. Nietzsche would say, you want the fruit, but you reject the fire that forges the tree. The Stoics would agree. They believed suffering was not an obstacle to growth, it was the training ground. Cold mornings. Lonely nights. Bored repetition. This wasn't punishment. This was preparation. But Marcus still struggled with one question. How do you stay disciplined when life hurts? Amor fati, loving the struggle. Nietzsche had an answer. 2 words. Amor fati. It means, love your fate. Not tolerate it. Not endure it. Love it. The Stoics taught acceptance. Nietzsche demanded something more radical. He said, what if every struggle you face is exactly what you need? What if the exhaustion, the boredom, the resistance were not enemies, but signals that you are becoming stronger? Discipline, then, is no longer about forcing yourself. It becomes about honoring the path you chose. Marcus tried this. Instead of fighting discomfort, he welcomed it. When workouts burned, he smiled. When waking up hurt, he reminded himself, this is the price. Something changed. The shocking moment is, months passed. Marcus became consistent. Not perfect, but reliable. Then one evening, something shocking happened. He broke his routine. He skipped a workout. He stayed up late. He failed. Old Marcus would have spiraled. But this time, he didn't feel guilt. He felt calm. And that terrified him. Had he lost discipline? Then it hit him. True discipline doesn't break when you stumble. Only fragile discipline does. Stoic discipline is built on resilience. Nietzschean discipline is built on identity. Marcus didn't panic because he no longer depended on routines to feel strong. He was strong. That was the moment he understood the deepest lesson of all. Discipline is not control, it is becoming. Nietzsche didn't want obedient people. He wanted creators. The Stoics didn't want rigid perfectionists. They wanted steady souls. Discipline is not about controlling every moment. It's about becoming someone who naturally chooses better. Someone who doesn't need motivation. Someone who doesn't negotiate with weakness. Someone who knows, I am the kind of person who shows up. That identity changes everything. Applying this to your life. So what can you do, starting today? 1. Stop asking for motivation. Ask who you are becoming. 2. Choose one struggle and commit to it. Not many. 1. 3. Expect resistance, and welcome it. That's the signal you're on the right path. 4. Detach discipline from emotion. You act because you decided, not because you feel like it. 5. Forgive failure quickly, but never abandon the path. This is Stoic strength. This is Nietzschean fire. Most people live their entire lives waiting to feel ready. Nietzsche would call that a tragedy. The Stoics would call it a waste. Discipline is not something you find. It's something you build, through choice, suffering, and meaning. And once you understand this, you stop asking, how do I stay disciplined? You start saying, this is who I am. If this story changed how you see discipline, don't keep it to yourself. Like this video to support the channel. Share it with someone who's struggling. Subscribe if you want more philosophy stories that actually change lives. Because the world doesn't need more motivation. It needs people who are willing to become stronger. And that journey starts now.